The only thing left to talk about is using the app. And so just a few things to cover. Most everything we know is the same as the web app. So there's not, we'll kind of breeze through most of it, but these are the things that we'll look at. And let me get my tablet going. We'll start in the top right corner just because all of this stuff is pretty much identical to the web application. Obviously, we've got your map layers. This is all your items that you've added. You can add map items. I don't know, I don't see really much utility for this, especially in the field. And it's really difficult to draw a track. There's no snap to in the mobile apps. You're basically left to click, click, click if you want to draw something. You know, the measuring options are pretty much the same. Finding a location is pretty much the same. Most of what we're going to look at is in the little 3-bar menu. And if you have a map already open and you click on show details, it is going to tell you basically, you know, the last time that the map was updated, the last time you synced the map. And you can always click the little arrows up in the upper right to force it to resync. And then I also have in the upper right the little share icon. It looks different on Android versus iOS, but if you click on that, you can choose what sort of link to send. And that's handy to send your friends or family, you know, a read link so that they've got a copy of your map. And then it will open up whatever operating system options that you've got. Maps just gives you access to your map library. Once again, you've got the little circles chasing each other in the upper right to refresh. A lot of times when I get out in the morning to go on an activation, the map that I've been working on will have kind of a red circle, arrows chasing each other to the left of it instead of that map icon. And that's how you refresh that. But these are all refreshing instantaneously tonight. So I can't even give you a good example of that. That's always a good thing to check before you get out in the boonies, is to make sure your map actually updated. And you can just click on the little arrows next to it. You'll see it better in the when we look down at map sheets.
Pat, you talked about sharing on the show details. I'm assuming that's going to share the entire SOTA Maps group of basically everything I've got in that library.
No. I'm sorry. So let me refresh. Let me take one step back. So up at the very top,
right,
is the name of the map that we're looking at. And so you can see here that, like, if we look at the little map info where you can zoom to extents, we're looking at my SOTA plan, master plan map.
Right, which includes everything.
Well, that includes, well, I mean, that includes a ton of stuff.
Right, right.
Those are the details just for that particular map.
Right.
Let me click on another one. And so now we're just going to go to some possible routes for Lickstone Bald.
Right.
Yeah, when I click show details, it's going to be
Oh,
the
okay. Now
details
it's
for
just let's go
Lickstone.
bald. Okay.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
could
yeah.
share, if I share that with my wife, say, does she get, will she get a link to basically the CalTopo on the web if she doesn't have the app
Correct.
installed? Okay.
Yeah, I mean that she's going to get that thing right there next to
Yeah,
location.
Right, right.
Tracks show you all the tracks that you had previously recorded. You can display them on a map, but they don't, you can't click on them. It's kind of like just an overlay. I don't see any purpose in that. The big thing is the download layers. The first screen that you get after you click on the download layers is this little doodah, and the purple dotted line is, you know, the map view that you have selected. So you can see all my Lickstone Bald routes right there. And so when I go to download layers, it's going to show you what's in the current view in that little purple box. And the tiles are what you can download. And up at the top, it tells you show coverage for Map Builder Topo. And if you click on that, you can choose other options. The only ones that I think are of any concern for us on the map, the Forest Service topo layers, possibly the parcel data information. Pretty much all the rest of the base layers there have, you know, coverage across the entire United States. If I click on Forest Service, though, you can see that just northwest of the one in yellow, it's only got partial coverage, you know, and then if you move west of that, there's no coverage. That's the only ones that, I mean, I guess it is handy to see that, yes, it does have Forest Service coverage or not, but those are the only two layers that may not have good coverage across the entire United States. I'll show you on my phone in a second because I don't have any data on here. But from here, you can select other tiles that you want to download. When you click on the little cloud icon in the upper right, that's when you get to choose which layers you want to download to your device and also the resolution. I've noticed a lot of times high and max, I don't think there's any difference, but I usually do choose the high resolution. And then you can choose which ones you want to download. And you'll notice down at the bottom, it tells you how much it's actually going to download and how much space you've got on your device. That is important probably to keep track of. Let me switch over to my phone. So here we can see that, because I use my phone primarily for navigation, that I've downloaded a bunch of tiles. doesn't really tell you what you have downloaded for those particular areas. But the blue ones indicate that I downloaded standard resolution, and the purple ones indicate that I've downloaded high or max resolution files in those areas. You could also say, if I clicked on a tile, I could go up to the little garbage can icon up at the top and remove that tile to free up some information or to free up some storage space. So that was the main thing that I wanted to show you there. I guess we'll just stay on my phone. One thing that I don't like about the little menu thing is once you are done with an item, and like I click the back arrow, it doesn't take you back to the menu. You got to go to the menu again. So map sheets. These are map sheets that I have downloaded to my account. And once again, if you want to use a map sheet in the app, you have to make sure that you click the little link to add it to your account so that it will be available in the mobile app. And so you can see here that I have the Blue Ridge Parkway map sheet in my account, but it's got the little red cloud icon over on the left. And that's similar to what you'll see when you may need to download some of your maps to your device. So I'll go ahead and click on the little red circle thing. And then I'll click on the cloud icon in the upper right to actually pull that down. And now when I go back, since I'm not far away from the parkway, I can add that map sheet in. Let's get rid of those guys. And there's our good old Blue Ridge Parkway map. You know, I like having this one available because it gives you the mileage markers, which most other maps do not. And you can see I've got a crazy idea of hiking to Lickstone all the way from Richland Balsam. So that is the key, is that you need to save them to your account in order to be able to use them on the app. Next thing to kind of take a look at, let's see, are some of the display options. They've got something called dark layers, which will turn the map builder layers. Let's get rid of that map sheet. And the scanned topos, either the USGS ones or the Forest Service. And so, you know, that may give you a little better contrasty image, may work better in low light. I haven't tried it in bright sunlight. It probably is worse in bright sunlight, but it also works with the map builder layers. And that's just another option. I prefer to turn off the labels. Well, let's just turn it all back on so you can see what it's all there. I don't really need the little scale bar down in the bottom left. I don't use the zoom in and zoom out function because I'm going to use the standard mobile device. You know, I can double click, I can pinch, I can, you know, I can do all the normal things for zooming in and out. And I just want to kind of clean up the interface. And so I will normally have the labels, the scale bar, and the zoom buttons turned off, just so you've got a little more screen real estate for your map. Now, I had no idea what this one finger zoom was. I know what the one finger salute is, but it took me a while to figure this one out. And it works both on Android and on iOS. And I can see that it would be handy when you're just working with your phone as you're hiking down the trail. If you kind of do a double tap and hold on the second tap, if you, I know that looks kind of freaky, if you move it up and down, it will zoom in or out. So that makes it handy to you know, hold your device and zoom in and out at the same time with just one finger. So that's something I've learned new that I will probably be taking advantage of. I do like having the coordinates and elevation displayed in the upper right. And so I leave that turned on. But keep in mind that unlike the web app where you have the choice of whether it's where the cursor is or the center of the screen, the mobile app is only in the center of the screen. You can see the set of crosshairs. And so the coordinates are whatever is underneath the crosshair. So we've got ing knob. I don't know why that's, oh, that's Cold Spring knob. So that's always the center of the screen. The other option that some people might like is this show heading line. It's not working on my tablet, but I think I got a message that said something like, I don't have a compass on my tablet, even though it's got a GPS. And I think that is the issue. So I'll show it to you here. So let me, if you're one of those folks that likes to navigate by saying, oh, you know, I'm going to go up to that rock and then go somewhere else, this may be handy, where it basically draws a line to wherever you're pointing. And so if we want to go visit my neighbors, we could go over there. You could kind of use this as a cheap replacement for something like Peak Finder, where if you were looking at a topo map, you know, you could scan across and maybe find, you know, what that mountain is that's sitting over there on the horizon that you're looking at. I use that occasionally, but not very often. As we all know, that thing down on the bottom right is the locator icon that will always zoom to your current position. In the bottom right, the little 4 dots, that's where you can, this is not a good example to hit keep centered right now, but that would, as you move, keep the screen centered on your location. You can turn on record a track, and you've got an option there that you can save it to your account or your account and this map, which is the default. And I think that is probably the most logical choice. You know, if I was hiking to Lick Stone Bald, I would want to record that track on this map so that when I came back home, it would be on the Lick Stone map and I could, you know, have it handy right there. Now, another benefit of recording a track on this saved map is if you've shared this map with friends and family and you have cell phone service, if you're not working offline, it will update on the map real time. So it provides another form of real-time tracking. And if you lose cell phone service and then get back to a point where you have cell phone service, it will update the online map. So it's a very handy and free way for people to be able to track you, which I think is great. Dropping a marker, it's the same as when you're drawing a map, it puts one right in the center of the map, which is usually where you were standing at that point. And I find this very useful just for marking things, you know, oh, I saw a logging road heading off into the, you know, to the west, or there's a water source. It just makes it real easy to acquire and save that in the field data. And it's on the map that you need it to be saved on. So I find that very handy. The last couple things that I was going to show you is if you click and hold on the map, one of the options is navigate to. And you could do this if you were bushwhacking. You could say, I want to navigate to the summit. And basically, it's going to draw you a straight line to the summit. I know that if I kept walking in that direction, no matter what was in my way or which way I got turned around, eventually that would take me to the point that I wanted to go. And you'll notice down at the bottom, you've got a little indicator there next to the locator. It's telling me it's going to take me 62 miles to get to my destination at a bearing of roughly 344 degrees. If I click on that little box, you'll get a little bit bigger arrow. And then I'm going to hit finish. You can tell it you want to navigate along a line. And the easiest way I found to do that, because it's hard to get the track information up on the screen by clicking on the line, like, whoop, there it was. You know, if somehow you can click on it, you can choose navigate either in a forward direction or a reverse direction. But what I found easier is if you click on your folder icon, you can choose one of your tracks and that will automatically highlight it on the map. And then you can say navigate. And so that will give you the navigation along that line. Obviously, I got a long ways to go just to get to my line, but that can be very handy. I would think they should add that there's no audio navigating. It would be nice if it told you to turn right so that you didn't have to look at the phone the whole time, but that's still quite handy. Now, this is the only thing that I think is super cool, and I noticed this back right before Christmas time. Once again, if you click and hold on the map, you'll get the menu that pops up. One of the choices is driving directions. On my phone, I get a choice of the navigation apps that I've got on my phone. And so if I click Google Maps, it's going to plug in those coordinates, basically the trailhead, for easy driving directions. So there's no translation or, trying to figure out what the coordinates are for the trailhead. I use that every single activation now. That's all I got for you. I mean, there's not a whole lot to the app. It's pretty straightforward.